There's no other choice, guys. This is it. We are live. Hello, lovelies. This is Lovettlytical. Welcome to a live stream of maybe some D&D talk, some chaos, randomness, all that kind of fun stuff. D&D talk, some chaos. Well, welcome, lovelies. So today we are going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, just a little bit about the beginner basics of it, a gameplay I watched and I enjoyed, kind of how I feel about D&D gameplay that might be different than the average game from the other how other people like to play, and just kind of got a playthrough, and then maybe what's going to happen in the future. I don't know. This is it. We're wild. I have a list, but it's kind of like not listy enough for me. So we're going ham on it. So welcome, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. And we're going to just hang out right here. Are we? And so, for everybody who is just beginning in Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of stuff, this is kind of like a good starting point on my opinions of it. But it's also for those who are very, I guess, advanced in it. This might be a refresher for how newer players like their gameplay, I guess you could say. Cliffhangers here. And so Dungeons and Dragons is a live role-playing kind of situation where you have multiple players, or you could have just maybe one or two play through a storyline. And so it's basically like your own movie or play through, and it could vary on from it doesn't have to be Dungeons or Dragons. There can be other cosmic events that come into play with it. So I guess what would make me happy right now is just to show you this, to get off this screen, and then we can talk about the gameplay. So that would probably make me the happiest, because I'm tired of looking at this little screen right here. So what I did is I watched you can call this a one-shot or a one-off gameplay. So instead of the typical Dungeons and Dragons where you have multiple sessions and everything is expanded over time, and you can really delve deep into the characters, and you get time to think about maybe it's the hidden secrets of the storyline, that kind of thing. Kind of, it's almost really good for storytellers, for book writers. Like, this is just so cool. So I watched, it's like a full gameplay, and let me go ahead and shout out the Shout Factory for this. I really enjoyed it. Now, there are some actors and actresses in this gameplay. So let's go ahead and talk about them. So we have Deborah Ann Wool, Todd Stashwick, Tiffany Smith, Mark Bernardin, and Jasmine Boular. And the Dungeon Master is led by David Nett, and I really enjoy his storytelling, his creativeness. I'm really enjoying that. So if you want to look at this in its entirety, it is 6 hours long. So maybe you can break it up into sessions like I did. I have the link in the description below of this live video. So, all right. So what we're going to do is just kind of show you the intro a little bit, talk about the story, and then kind of key timestamps to get into it. So hopefully you can hear it. I'm trying to work around some things. So let's begin with Always a Sword. So this here is I'm sorry, but for copyright purposes, we have to do this. This here is the map of the gameplay of your, and so it's going to show you kind of like the layout. Of course, the intro here. It's going to go into, the people that are going to be playing. And then let's go ahead and go in about a minute and 42 in.
All seem to be going well. The main forces lined up in a traditional.
And so what happens here in this story play is all of these characters here are part of a group of soldiers in the last battle. There's like a Sun Queen and then a Dark Queen kind of thing. And so they're at the last battle and the Sun Queen is overthrown. She has perished. And they flee and they have to live out kind of secret lives. And then what happens is there's a prophecy that occurs and they all have to battle up and get ready, right? So they're all going to be talking about the story, the layout, where they're at, and then also their characters. So let's go ahead at, I think it's
been in this village varying amounts of time. You all
6 minutes.
Recognized each other. We talked about really
salted copper
So
and kind of skin that has these wonderful like wrinkles and laugh lines. You can just see like someone who smiled their whole life.
so they're right here. They're going to be talking about their characters, what type of creature they are. Are they human or are they barbarian orc?
I live in a little hovel just inside the
with Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's really great. It's not set in stone. You can have a different variety of characters, races, arcs, stories. It can be even in space, as with like Starfinder. You can have it more science-based or futuristic timeline. So it doesn't always have to be medieval, because everybody, when they think Dungeons and Dragons, it's always like rough, medieval, old, dark ages and stuff. But I think you can really expand on the world that is Dungeons and Dragons. So right now they're just, doing their characters, talking about who they are. I quite liked all of their characters. So you had a halfling, you had a human, you have an archer. I think that is our friend Mark here. Yeah, here we go. So he's a human ranger here. So, and then we have our girl Jasmine. Come on, Jasmine. And she's a dwarf wizard. This is really cool. I enjoyed her character a lot. A lot of these characters are unique, and I do like that it's not all the same. I think maybe if I did one, I'd be probably like a thief. I'd be like a pickpocket, like a little guy, a little person that gets into everything. So, and the last character here, he is an orc. Come on. Okay, let's get him. I like his shirt, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. No, she's a super nice person. She doesn't always understand like social convention.
This
You
is
know, she's the
me.
type of person that just propose an idea. She's like, oh, that's really nice. Or we could do this the good way and do it this other way. So,
Yeah, we can do it that way. You know? That sounds great.
Yeah. You like her though.
You like everybody.
Better like
Yeah, so let's do that.
I'm playing Ulka, and Ulka is a half orc.
Yeah, so a half orc barbarian. So we have a human cleric, a rogue, a human ranger, a wizard that's a dwarf, and he's a half orc. Let's go ahead and get 20 minutes in here. I'd say about right around there. And so right now what's going on is there is a girl that arrived in the town that they're all hiding in. And so they need to protect the girl because the evil queen's people, soldiers have come in. They know that there is a elf around. Apparently the elves were all massacred during after the Great War. And she found out that there's a prophecy that's regarding the elves, so she's trying to track down the elves. So they're protecting girl that is going to lead to the elves.
The outside shouting for help. So you step outside.
So I step outside. Take her inside. I'll handle this. No one's handling it. We all need to go inside. I can handle this. Take her inside.
I'll take her inside. I say, honey, I've got some things that'll help you through this. So I'll take her into the inn.
Okay, so you head into the inn.
Yeah.
And now you Alta see.
Hopefully I don't get copyright on this, but it won't matter anyways. If they make money, they make money off you.
What?
With her, sort of shaking this young girl, which I think is 15, 16, dirty, disheveled hair.
Hopefully you guys can hear this.
See if I can get a sense of like, should I trust
Oh,
her?
hey Deanna.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like she's genuinely afraid. But what you do sense from her is that she's afraid of the soldiers, but that maybe this isn't the first time she's ever seen.
Sort of my passive investigation, passive perception. Did I notice anything about her?
So it's really hard to pick which character I liked in this gameplay. Like there was certain traits of all of them I really enjoyed. You know, it was the rogue really is interesting, the elder like cleric, you know, the know-it-all dwarf, you know, the muscle orc, the ranger that just wants to do good. You know, it was really nice to watch this gameplay. Let's see where we can go. So of course I did timestamps because that's the only way we can live. And with Dungeons and Dragons here, it is a skill-based kind of role playing system, and it's also based off of chance. So you get certain bonuses to certain skills that you have acquired over time. So like with the rogue, she's good at sneak attacks and like quick actions. With the dwarf wizard, she's good at spells and magic. The ranger, he's good at, you know, dexterity and reflexes. And the orc, you know, he's good at brute strength and that kind of stuff. So, but what throws in the randomness is the dice. And that's what makes Dungeons and Dragons so great. Because the dice decide your fate. And with the ability, you have points that you can add to the dice roll. So it helps as like a, I guess you could call it like a handicap where it kind of gives you a bonus to it. So I do like that. And so, yeah, they're just rolling out, playing. They have to fight multiple soldiers, get some information, interrogation. You can interrogate. And what's interesting about this is the dungeon master is the one that's guiding the whole story. So he knows everything about this story. He's laid out the map. He's laid out the kind of like characters and stuff, but they also have to improvise because people are very different. So sometimes you could try to lead them to a certain situation, but they're going to actually do something opposite. So you're going to have to kind of improvise your story and gameplay to situate your needs. And so I really enjoy David Nettles' ability to adapt to the game players, to know what kind of how they're going to play their character, where their strong suits, kind of push them on their weaknesses. Uh, so let's see here. We do have some DM time. That's a great lead in to what I was just saying. And like I said, this is a very long, I mean, I guess in a newbie's standpoint, this is a long uh, scheme of things. But for those who are very in depth, 6 hours is like, yeah, that's just like a party, whatever. We have them every week, kind of thing. Um, two or three. So they're going to take a break here, and David and one of the persons from Shout, whatever. Here we can go. Okay. So they're going to take a break 2 hours in. And David and one of the persons from Shout Factory is going to, they're going to take a break and they're going to talk about some things here.
As much as you can, make it look like business as usual.
She says yes and she. Let's pause here for a second.
So we are here with our DM extraordinaire, David Nett.
DM at least.
Yeah.
The extraordinary part is it's just more objective.
Right. So
Subjective.
we've just hit our first big break. This is the first time that you've ever played with this group together.
Yes.
Many of them are part of regular groups of yours. A lot of them are friends with one another. This is the first time we've ever gotten this group.
I hope you guys can hear this. I'm improvising right now.
As the DM, how do you think the game is going so far?
It's great. So the big things when you're at the beginning of any new like one-shot adventure, you're trying to get the players comfortable with each other, get them to all understand each other's characters a little bit, make the world feel a little bit real before you push into the big action and the inciting incident. Like any movie or anything, it just it takes a little while to feel that, and part of that feeling that out, you start to feel how the players are going to and characters are going to respond to certain stimuli, right? So I think it's going really great. We have a group of very thoughtful characters.
Yes,
so
I would say
we've got
that.
a couple of like characters of action in here, but we've got a lot of really thoughtful characters.
They're
And it's
trying
a lot
to
of little
play
hooks here
the
and there.
game well.
It is
Are they biting? Are they taking the hooks that you want?
so. What's been interesting is they're listening to the hooks. Everybody's hearing everything. What they're doing is they're planning a lot. So they're using the information for analytic purposes rather than action purposes. So
Yeah, so this is a great key in being a storyteller or maybe even a book writer or something that involves even like a show or anything. You have to think about the characters in mind, you have to see how they're going to respond to certain stimuli and if they're going to bait. And based off of that, you have to switch up the gameplay a little bit to get them to get more into action than thinking it out. Because really, that's what the jits. Sorry about that. That's the gist of what the gameplay, what Dungeons and Dragons is about. It's about adventure. So there is storyline, but you also need to make sure that you don't think too much and not have the action. Because the action is what is the meat of the matter, right? This is what's going to bond all the game players together. This is what's going to test you on how you developed your character. Did you give them the right amount of skills, bonus actions, all these other things? Did you give them enough to make them playable, or were they just superficial? And that really helps a player um, helps them feel out, and maybe in the future they can change something about that character, or when they make a new character they can go, okay, this was what I was weak in, this is what I was strong in, let me make something that's going to tailor that. So that's cool. And so what he's saying is that they're really good. They're just being very thoughtful. They're being, like me, analytical, and not being action based. So he's going to have to change up the gameplay and bring the fight to him. And that's what he's about to say.
We spent that beginning kind of feeling each other out and get to that place. I'm going to have to push the action a little bit now. So because they are these thoughtful characters, we have interestingly a couple of spellcasters at the table who don't really have offensive spells. Like Jasmine didn't take any offensive spells for her character. She's a person that she protects people, and so it's a very we're a little slow out of the gate into the action, but not unheard of.
So as a DM, how do you push the action that you maybe hoped had been earlier?
I mean, fortunately, while they each control an individual character in the world, I control the world. So the world's filled with, because we're doing a sort of sorcery adventure, the world's filled with danger and bad guys and an evil emperor who's got nefarious plans, and and this elf they've been chasing. So we've laid groundwork for things to just come kind of crashing through. So that's kind of what's happening right here. Before we broke, one of the townspeople let them know that action is coming to them.
It's coming to you.
Then making a decision that takes them to the action.
Don't push the dungeon master. They'll bring the fight to you.
They had a little bit of a skirmish earlier, but now they're a big action scene.
Foreshadow over here.
That'll be interesting. But whatever resolves out of this will kind of help us understand what the path is going to be going forward, what direction they take.
All right,
Are
cool.
they where you?
All right. So let's go ahead and push forward now that we talked to the DM and know what his intents are for this group. Let's get about 3 hours. Oh, you know what I really enjoy about this game here? I'm going to turn it down while I talk. Right. And so right here, he unveiled a map right here. And what's great about this story play is that you can set out a board when it's action time, and all the characters, they can even make their own pawns, their own little character statues and stuff. If not, you can just find something. But there are endless ways you can set up the battleground. As right here, it's the small town they were in. They spent too much time thinking about things, and so now the troops have entered the small town, and now they're going to have to kind of duke it out with these people. And again, it's all role based, so you get a certain amount of moves, and then you can have an action, and then there's also a bonus action. And depending on your role, you can either be successful or not. And so if you're successful, you can roll, and that hits a player and it kind of damages them. And the role is, I mean, what you're basically trying to do is defeat your opponents. And so, and these are all, what's interesting is it's just not you. It's a set of other different characters that are throwing in um, different things into the mix. It's like having a cookie recipe, and they're throwing in some flour and sugar, and they're throwing in different ingredients into this mix. And so sometimes you have to alter your plans and your strategy based off of other players' moves, and also, of course, the dungeon master, because he's playing as the antagonist. He's playing as the villain. He's playing as the NPC character, and so you definitely have to tailor your gameplay to that. So let's go to 313 and listen to a little bit here. So, of course, they're able to defeat a little bit of people in this town.
So you guys, you make 2 trips. You're getting ready to do the 3rd trip. You guys are sort of deciding what to do. Have you moved into one of the buildings? Have you?
So that right
you
now
left
they're
out on
trying to
lookout?
get
What did you
people
do?
out of the town.
Yeah, so
We went
you're over
to
at Shade's
my
place.
house.
You're at Shade's place. Gotcha. Did you go? You went to the livery with the horse. Is anybody looking like move back, start back up towards the south again?
Mhm.
You got to fly information towards the south.
Hold up.
Oh,
Do Argus and I clock this as we're doing our?
oh no.
You're more in the edge of the village.
Oh,
of the
no,
forest.
something happened.
It's something that you
Okay.
saw. Actually,
New development.
Are you still with the captured soldier?
New development. The recon dragon.
They're dragons.
Ask the soldier about the dragon.
This man is an imbecile. I'm not asking him anything. I refuse.
Okay, at this point, I think we're gonna come out of my house.
Okay.
Did we put a spell on the elf boy? We did not do that. We just have him.
You've got disguise. Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So
let's
you guys
see
have
here.
you have 5 days of travel. So.
Yes.
And I do check in with Rasha every night. I'm just like,
Okay.
got a long shake.
And you run up to the 2 guards, and you hear him say, General Frostmorn and the ambassador from somewhere found the elf. And the guy at the door looks at him sort of skeptically for a moment. And then that's what he can do. You have your haughtiest demeanor on as the ambassador. Tippin stands straight and tall beside you.
You're inside the sphere damage. Anything outside of
Wow.
And so basically, the players eventually.
Yeah.
So I do
Ow.
We
that.
wanted to kill her, but we
And
haven't.
then with
We
my
have to
bonus
reach for
action,
that. So the players here, they actually are going to go to the Emperor Queen and kind to fulfill the prophecy, the elven prophecy. I'm not going to delve too much into it. I really want to leave a lot out so those who want to watch this gameplay can enjoy it themselves without me ruining it. And I really, really highly suggest you watch it. It's enjoyable. So, there's one last one. Like, you always have like an inspiration, every character gets a certain like, what would you call it? Like a epic move, right? That's what an inspiration is. So you get this epic move where you can do just something crazy. And the dungeon master will tell you if it's possible, and this is always all role based, so it's not like always going to be successful. Like you can come up with this like great plan and roll like a 2. You're like, well, I fell on my face. So they're going to go ahead and, do their thing and have a great success. I don't want to reveal too much. And in the wrap up, they're going to talk about what their characters are going to do after the story and adventure. What are they going to, what are they going to contribute? Where are they going to go? Kind of situation. So I enjoyed this, and I think why I enjoyed it more than the typical Dungeon Dragons is that it's a one off. It is a one session thing. So you're not having multiple sessions, multiple weeks. You don't have to keep going back. And I think um, I know a lot of Dungeons and Dragons players, they like to make a character and they develop it. So they don't want to let that character go. They just want to keep improving on that and make it like the master, right? Um, and I did that with Sims 4. I would play with these Sims and I would literally live like forever. I mean, they would complete so many aspirations. They would be like, they'd be maxed out on almost all of their skills, you know. I've done almost all of the things I could do with them. And I think sometimes that limits you in a way of Shout Factory. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gameplay. If I do find another one of yours where you guys do another playthrough, I will watch and maybe do a little bit of a review on it. There is another um, gameplay type channel that does Dungeons and Dragons, and I might do a review on them. We're not sure about that, but I just definitely wanted to keep it narrowed down to this. And so let's just go to my channel, I guess, and look at nothing. Look at nothing here. Let's see. What can we look at? There's no one live at the moment right now. They're all hanging out. It's right before Christmas. So is there anybody I want to watch right now that would be intriguing? I don't want to pick one person because I might get mad if I don't pick another. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to look at cats. Yeah, we're going to look at cats. I am. I am. I'm having a good day. Someone's napping. It might be nap time's over soon, but we'll see. So we are going to look at cats while I talk because I have nothing else to look at. Oh my god. Now I forgot what I was talking about. Completely forgot. Can somebody remind me? I was talking about the cat. Oh my god. Okay. Yes. So I definitely would like to play Dungeons and Dragons one day. But it would be in the one shot thing where I just make a character for that gameplay. I'm rolling the dice on if I'm making this character okay, and that's the risk and the excitement sometimes. Because we're going back to The Sims. Great, I remembered. And so with The Sims, it was a challenge for me, and then when I decided to do the short lifespan, you're limited now on your character, and so it's like whatever you get. Whatever you get, right? So it's definitely thrown curves and wrenches, and you kind of have to like adapt with that. And I think that's what's going to help me if I ever decide to do Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be like, well, I'm going to have to roll with the character I'm given and their challenges and their skills and their traits kind of thing. And so,
I don't know what drug.
I am
I was just gonna say something.
I am not quite sure on if I want to air the gameplay that I do for Dungeons and Dragons or not. I don't think it would be very interesting, and I really don't have anybody to play with, so it might be boring for other people because it's just probably me playing it. But the tongue, really, the tongue. Dogs. Oh my gosh. So I might just do a couple on my own and get a sense of that. Watch a couple more gameplays, just get a feel of it. But I do enjoy one-offs versus the expansive universe, and I think that's what really hung me up when I was younger. Is that it was like every week, it was like you spent 3 hours making a character. What the hell? And and like just like an hour of gameplay or 30 minutes of gameplay. I mean, it's just I just don't got time to invest in that. So I really do like somewhere in the range of under 6 hours. So we'll see what we can do. There are ways that you can play Dungeons and Dragons on your own. It's going to be more rolling dice to figure out how strong the other people are going to be to help you with the storyline if you're lacking on that. There are groups that you can sign up online, and it's gonna cost you, of course, like anything in life. But it'll cost you, and they do. You and a couple other people do a couple sessions um, online in like a group meet, not like streaming or anything, but it's just like a group meetup where you have like 4 to 5 different people and they're going through the same gameplay as yours. If this is something that you guys have even been paying attention to or watched up until the end of whatever it is we're doing here of cats, I will do an analytics, a breakdown of how you make your character, the process of it, how you can on your own develop it. So if that's something you're looking into, just let me know. Tomorrow it's going to be the Big Sister Let's Play. This is going to be something different. It's a little special we got going on, like a love edition here. So I hope we have a great Let's Play tomorrow. As far as my short lifespan legacy challenge, I am still recording it. I just don't have an editor at the moment to edit the videos and upload. I am waiting until the new year to get the editor updated. So, anyways, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in or throwing a like, putting a comment in. I love you guys so very much. And I guess until next time, we'll see each other again. Bye, guys.